Take two! Ha! First time around, we forgot to turn the microphone on. Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ultimus. We are coming at you once again with a artifact weapon preview, overlook, all that good stuff, all the goodies, the juicy little bits. This time I'm going to be doing the Frost Death Knight. I was going to do Warlocks next. However, they just finished patching and touching up all of the traits for the Frost Decay tree. Some of these were missing or didn't have the tooltips on them, so I was avoiding doing it. Oh my gosh, phone, look, you need to calm down. This is not your video. If you want to do videos, you can like start your own channel. All right, cool, shut up. But since all the talents are here now, I figured we'd go ahead and do them. It wasn't as bad and empty as like the Arms Warrior tree. There was just like tooltips missing on and stuff like that. But that is neither here nor there. So let's go ahead and jump right in at our starting point. This was the big one that was missing, and mother of God, is it gorgeous now that it is here. Ready? Literally, okay. I love playing an Unholy Death Knight, but this trait right here is making it really hard not to just go ham on wanting to go Frost. Ready? Ready? Syndragosa's Fury. Summon Syndragosa. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I can't. I'm done. I'm done. Like, I don't know who they're leaving in charge of, like, planning out and designing skills, but this guy's got the right idea. I'm just going to say that, okay? Because literally, so far, from so many of these, between the talents, the PvP talents, and now the artifact weapons, there are so many skills in here that are just like, what's some of the craziest crap we can give all these classes? Do it. And they're just throwing it out there. I can't, like, I'm just like flipping out on this. I don't even know how good this is going to be. I mean, I'd imagine it's going to be fairly good since it's like you're going to have to take it and it's your intro skill to being a Frost Death Knight. And I want to know how this is going to play into the lore bits of going back to Icecrown Citadel and getting those shards. Like, this is where and I don't know if they've confirmed this or not, but I'm imagining since you're going to be building this artifact weapon up as you go along throughout the expansion, the first trait you get or the first ability you get is probably going to be pretty pivotal lore-wise. To me, that just seems like a connection that would be a logical thing to do. And so part of me is like, how is this going to play into that lore? Like, are you going to see Syndragosa back? I don't know. And that's the second thing. When you, like, summon this, are we actually going to see Syndragosa, or is it just going to be, like, a Frost Breath that covers the map? I hope to the gods of Ulduar that we see Syndra. Like, I'm just, like, the visuals on this already sound so cool to me. But before we get so caught up in this first talent here, let's go ahead and finish actually reading it. Summon Syndragosa, who casts Frost Breath. It's a 5-minute cooldown, but it's an instant. Frost Breath, and yeah, so it looks like you summon it, so it's actually something on the field. Crazy. Inflicts 27,000 frost damage to enemies in a 4-yard cone in front of the caster. In addition, the target's attack speed is decreased by 50% for 10 seconds. That's crazy. Oh, this sounds like so much fun. Like, Unholy is cool, and that concept is cool. Like, this random spawning of Army of the Dead, that's cool. But you're friggin' summoning Syndragosa. Okay, please tell me I'm not the only one that thinks that's crazy cool. Like, there's got to be at least one other person out there that's just like, that's it, done, boom, going Frost. I just want to do it. I could think of a couple people that would roll a Death Knight just to finish the starter quest, just so they could summon Syndragosa. Just like, okay, cool, did it. Like, oh my gosh, I'm freaking out over here. In case you couldn't tell. Dead Winter, or Dead of Winter. Increase the damage of Remorseless Winter by up to 20% once you have it fully decked out here. 10, looks like 15, then 20. Makes sense. Then we have Blast Radius. Increase the damage dealt by your Howling Blast by 20%. 30%. Oh, wow. 40%. I was expecting that to go up in 5% increments. That's crazy, up to 40%. And then we're getting Ambidexterity. Increases offhand damage dealt by Frost Strike and Obliterate by 20%. 30%, 40%. Wow, these numbers are actually rather large. They're not larger than I was expecting, actually. I was expecting the 5% increments, not the 10%. That's kind of crazy. Cold as Ice. Increases your frost damage dealt by 6%, 10%, and 13%. How about this one? Frozen Skin. Reduces your damage taken by 6%. I'm guessing this is going to stack up to 13. Yeah, okay. Ice in your veins increases the healing of Death Strike by 200% while Icebound Fortitude is active. Oh, wow. Oh, wow, that goes up even higher, 400%. Holy butts. So Icebound Fortitude, not only does that basically going to reduce the damage you take, and if it functions the same way, if I remember off the top of my head, you're immune to stuns. But then once you get this bad boy fully decked out, your healing is going to go up by 400%. I'm really curious when we start like seeing all this stuff actually in game as videos and stuff roll out from the Legion Alpha and Beta, like what this stuff is going to be tuned like. I'm some of these numbers I feel like are going to be bonkers. Chill of the Grave increases the range of your Frost Strike by 8 yards. Oh, that's interesting. A range. That's an odd choice. Interesting. Mirror Ball, anti-magic shell now clears debuffs when activated. Oh, that's kind of cool. So it's like a cleanse. It just like removes all the debuffs from you. It doesn't just absorb magic stuff now, but it actually removes debuffs from you. That's kind of cool. Nothing But the Boots increases the critical strike damage of Obliterate by 20%, 30, and 40. So again, not the critical strike chance, because that would be silly since with... Get off my screen, Fly. Nobody wants you here. This isn't your video. You should have been here for the Unholy Death Knight video. Not the critical strike chance, since that would be kind of silly, since Obliterate's almost a guaranteed crit anyways when your stuff procs just right. So, but it's the critical strike damage, so that's kind of crazy there. Keep an eye on that one. Frozen Core, why it looks like a tongue, who knows. While Pillar of Frost is active, enemies that attack you are automatically ensnared in chains of ice. That sounds broken as butts. I mean, it's cool as someone who like ults a Death Knight, but that sounds, you know, crazy bonkers. Now, keeping in mind, of course, we're only like day 2 into alpha anyways, but at the time I'm recording this, so obviously things are going to be out of whack and nothing's been tuned yet, but just the initial like premise of what they're like saying here, that just sounds kind of crazy. Pillar of Frost, because Pillar of Frost is what, a 2-minute cooldown, I think, something like that. 1 minute, 2 minute, I don't know. Either way, anybody who hits you, like when you have that active, just gets hit with chains of ice. That's kind of crazy. I feel like Frost Death Knights, I mean, with that at least, they're going to have a little bit more control on the battlefield, which I feel like is something that Death Knights lack a little bit of right now. Like, you get chains of ice every once in a while. It only immobilizes if you glyph for it. Sorry, talent for it. And then you have to talent into asphyxiate as well. So, I mean, you really don't have a whole lot of control aside from just general slow. So, being able to, like, potentially root and have more slow, or at least on people, is going to be interesting, to say the least. Hypothermia. Every periodic tick of Frost Fever deals 10% more damage. Kind of cool. Bad to the Bone. Increases the effectiveness of your Razor Ice Rune Forge by 75%. Oh, wow. Up to 125. Yeah, up to 125. Crazy. So, Razor Ice is the Rune Forging enchantment you put on your weapons. Typically, right now, how Death Knights seem to be running is they're doing 1 Rune of the Fallen Crusader and 1 Razor Ice for the strength and plus the frost damage buff. But with this on here, be curious to see if Frost Death Knights are just running 2 Runes of Razor Ice. That, and we're not really sure what all the rune forging is going to look like in Legion, because they did mention it's going to be changed and professions are getting hit pretty gnarly hard anyways. So we'll see how that works out anyways. And then finally we're getting to Overpowered. Sounds like it. Your Obliterate has a chance to generate 6 more runic power, 10 more runic power, up to 13 more runic power. And then we get Frozen Soul. When Remorseless Winter expires, a burst of frost damage is released. Damage is increased for each enemy hit during a Remorseless Winter. Okay, so basically, once it's done, you do a burst of frost damage, and that is scaled depending on how many enemies you hit while it was active. So that's kind of a cool concept. So obviously, you're going to want to be able to time that right so you can maximize it for control and damage. So kind of cool there. Again, I like seeing stuff like that again because it just emphasizes, and it's going to be able to put good DKs into position to maximize their cooldowns both offensively and defensively. Because there's multiple cooldowns in the game, and obviously I'm not like saying this like this is a new revelation or nothing, but it's like there are multiple cooldowns in the game that function offensively and defensively, and the skill cap for each class I feel like comes from knowing how to use each one in a proper situation. So you don't waste it, so you get the maximum, effectiveness out of it for, your time spent casting it, the mana cost, whatever it is. So seeing stuff like this kind of added to the DKs, I think is kind of cool. Because for the while, the hardest thing about the Death Knights was their resource system. The rune system was just kind of clunky. It was cool. The concept was cool, and the runic power was cool, but all in all, it just was very clunky. And so now that we're shifting to just one type of rune for everything, once you're out kind of a thing. They regenerate, all that good stuff. There's no more frost, no more unholy, no more, blood runes. It's all just one type of rune. But adding stuff like this in, I think, is going to be interesting just to see how this plays out. and how this raises the skill cap for, you know, better Death Knights as opposed to other ones. Because I'd be curious to see what this damage looks like. It's just, I feel like Frost Death Knights might turn into like AoE machines between Howling Blast, Cindergrosa's Fury, you know, Frozen Soul, all this kind of crazy stuff. It's kind of cool. The Sound of Inevitability. Wow, I said that right the first time without even stuttering. That's amazing. Your active diseases have a chance to trigger runic empowerment. Okay. So, that's kind of cool. So, active diseases stacks with 3 times. However, this is going to work percentage-wise. Don't know, since there's 3 points in there, but it doesn't say anything to do with procs or percentages. But again, just more incentive to keep an eye on your diseases and make sure they don't fall off. Kind of cool. And the last talent here, which looks really cool, and I was pretty excited about it until we discovered Cindergrosa's Fury. Then all of a sudden, I don't really care so much about this anymore because, I mean, friggin' Cindergosa. But this is still cool. Crystalline Swords. As you attack, icy copies of Icebringer and Frost Reaper begin to float beside you. When you trigger Soul Blade, the icy blades are unleashed that pierce their foe. So think Dancing Rune Weapon back in the day, just a little bit modified, a little bit different. So obviously it's not something you're going to be able to cast and use because it says as you attack, icy copies of Icebringer and Frost Reaper begin to float beside you. And then whenever you use your ability called Soul Blade, then they begin to attack. So overall, kind of cool. I like the concept that they're messing with Frost Death Knights. It definitely is enough to get my attention and make me consider re-rolling instead of playing Unholy. Even though the Unholy Sword looks so friggin' cool. And the concept is dope, but I'm just like, the idea of just Frost being this good on paper, I'm really looking forward to hopefully getting my hands on it in beta and alpha. That'll probably be one of the first classes I test. I might even test out Death Knights before my warrior, just because I'm always cringy when I get to warriors. I'm always like, you know, closing your eyes and jumping kind of a thing. Because I'm always just like, what are you doing in my class, Blizzard? What are you doing in my class? I've also have pepper in my eye. That is extremely uncomfortable. That's what I get for cooking and eating and then coming up and trying to record a video. My goodness. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. Let me know what you guys think. If you play a Death Knight, what do you think of the changes coming in? I know some people are still kind of salty about being forced to dual wield, but you know what? It's okay. You'll get over it, I promise. You get a summon friggin' Cindergosa. I mean, you know, it's like, it's give and take kind of thing. No two-hander, get a giant frost dragon. In fact, the mother of the frost brood. I'll take the dragon. I'll take the dragon. But as always, I just want to say thank you guys again so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like, a comment, go ahead and share the video. It does help, and if anything, it just means a lot to me. If you're into all that sentimental stuff, I know I am. As again, just trying to push it. If you don't already know, we do have a Facebook page. I'll put a link to it in the description below. It's just under the name Ultimus, not Ultimuswow. I just kind of kept it a little simpler. Other than that, feel free to find me on all my social medias that I have linked below. I'd love to talk with you guys, hear from you, answer your questions, and just get to know you. So yeah, that's going to do it for this one. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.